a real hero.
I'm so sick of these people. You know, oh!
What is up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the tantalizingly taboo Dr. Disaster, and I think people are just sick and tired of Hollywood movie star culture, but that hasn't stopped the access media from being clueless idiots trying to shame us into continuing to support this industry and to keep their gravy train chugging along down the tracks.
I'll never turn to the dark side. If you will not be turned, you will be destroyed.
Look at this tweet here from Culture Base from the other day, which really got one of these mainstream media turds all pissed off. It says, July has ended, and these are the box office numbers for the three biggest films of the summer so far. Jurassic World Rebirth raked in about $731 million, and it's been a month since it released. Superman has made about $534 million after 3 weeks of being released. And Fantastic Four First Steps has made about $269 million, and they incorrectly stated here that it's been out for 2 weeks, but then they later corrected themselves, saying it's only been out 1 week. The point is that Fantastic Four is falling behind their competition, and both of the superhero movies are getting whooped by Jurassic World.
Why does this keep happening to me?
It isn't hard to figure out why superhero movies are falling off. They spent too much time over this past decade trying to shit on their actual audience in order to try to attract a new one. Instead of playing to the male audience that loves these action films, they pandered to a female one, which largely doesn't exist. But anyhow, movie critic John Rocha responded to this tweet in a staggeringly clueless rant, saying, "Some people won't want to hear this, but it might be time to stop putting all the blame on studios or creatives for underperforming movies. It might be time to start looking at the intelligence levels of moviegoers. If a phenomenally stupid film like Jurassic World Rebirth can crush films like Superman and Fantastic Four at the box office, then something might be wrong with all of us and not the studios or the creatives."
There's nothing wrong with me. Maybe there's something wrong with the universe.
Just imagine how pissy this guy must have gotten when Fantastic Four First Steps, which it's cringy as hell how this dude is shilling so hard for what amounts to an aggressively mid movie at best, but just imagine how pissy pants this same guy got when he read this data here. Fantastic Four dropped damn near 80% in its second weekend domestically. Apparently, word of mouth was freaking dreadful for this movie. The fanboys came in to watch the Marvel slop in the first week, but they've lost a massive section of their audience in the second week.
Does it depress you to know just how alone you really are?
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. A bunch of you have done that recently, so now it is time to ask the following question.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
Yo! We now have 142,000 space pirate a-holes running around in this crew of ours, and as is the custom on this channel, with every 1,000 subs, I add a new ship to the fleet in order to house the newcomers. This time, one of you recommended Arc from Transformers, which you can see floating around here. If anyone out there has suggestions for future ships, drop them into the comment section below and I will add them to my long list. And also, I'm putting a list of all the ships already in the fleet into the description of the video for your reference. But anyhow, thanks to all of you for being here and supporting the channel. It means a lot.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
But let's talk about the Fantastic Four second weekend at the box office. As you may remember, right before this movie came out, we were talking about how the projected box office for the film's first weekend was dropping like a rock. Originally, the powers that be were predicting somewhere between $130 and $150 million, but those expectations were lowered dramatically down to around $110 million, and I discussed how this was a sign that a large bunch of people were tuning out because they are sick of the Marvel formula these days. That being said, the movie did end up exceeding expectations on that first weekend, hitting about $117 million. It wasn't as high as Superman's first weekend, but it was bigger than we thought, so I shrugged my shoulders and decided to play the waiting game. See, we have seen this sort of thing play out before, where a Marvel film gets front-loaded support in the initial weekend from the cultural auto-intake zombies who still just get excited for next product whenever these hacks release something. But then, in the second weekend, they get crushed because word of mouth isn't generally working in Marvel's favor these days. And it turns out that this looks to be the case once again. Look at this headline. This was written by comic book resources, the sort of mainstream media shills who love to kiss the asses of the likes of Disney and Marvel every chance they get, so you know things are looking grim for this movie if they have written this. You can practically taste the tears that must have been dripping onto the keyboard when this journalist wrote this piece, but it says here, the Marvel Cinematic Universe might have to stop its celebration because the Fantastic Four First Steps doesn't seem to be the hit everyone originally thought. The superhero film premiered in theaters on July 25th and had an encouraging debut. However, in its second weekend, things are looking bleak for Marvel's first family. Per Variety, although the Fantastic Four First Steps held on to the #1 spot for a second week in a row, its numbers are not worth celebrating. On its second Friday, First Steps saw a devastating 80% drop from its initial debut numbers. Now, keep in mind that according to Box Office Mojo, when you add in the Friday numbers, Fantastic Four is at about $270 million worldwide. By the end of the weekend, it will likely still be well under 300. This is a movie with a production budget of about $200 million, and the marketing budget for most big Disney films is usually $100 million. And with all the marketing they spent on this movie, it was definitely every penny of that, if not way more. And of course, we all know that in order to make money at the movie theaters, these studios need to double, at least double, the amount of money that they put into a film so that they can pay half of it to the theaters that show the film and they get to keep the other half. But that means, at minimum, they need to hit around $600 million for the break-even of Fantastic Four, and at this rate, there is virtually zero way that happens. No matter how you slice it, these numbers that we're seeing in the second weekend so far are indicative of an IP that is not seeing very positive word of mouth. And no matter how much this Rocha guy gets pissed at moviegoers in this tweet of his, it isn't going to change our minds. Blaming us for rejecting these films is a mind-numbingly stupid approach to business that is entirely emblematic of everything wrong with Hollywood. These self-absorbed morons just keep on making movies they want to see and refusing to listen to the feedback that their customers are trying to give them. We tried to tell them basically through the entirety of both phases 4 and 5 of the MCU that we don't like this. We don't like the race swapping, gender swapping, the focus on bottom-of-the-barrel characters we'd never heard of before, or the shitty multiverse concept, and they refuse to listen no matter how the box office dwindles. us. They've been bound and determined to shrug our voices off, and now I'm certain it's too late for Hollywood. It takes a long time to learn how to tell stories people enjoy in the movie medium, and in Hollywood, they have promoted yes men, they've promoted beneficiaries of nepotism, they've promoted DEI hires, they promoted progressive mouthpieces, and they've done this to the point that a lot of the people who know what they're actually doing are going to be aging out soon, and the entire industry will be filled with clueless hacks who won't be able to teach the next generation. No wonder these morons are concerned that AI is going to ruin them, and it is no wonder that these big-budget superhero movies, based on characters we used to love, got beaten out this summer by a mindless and stupid monster movie like Jurassic World. This tells me that people still crave the cinematic experience, but not the Hollywood experience. But I'm going to leave it there. Drop your contempt for these Hollywood clowns into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.